In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the representation theory. Now, in our earlier discussion, we have already discussed that the elements of a finite group G can be represented by matrices. This is done in one of the following way. A suitable column matrix U known as a basis vector is chosen and is written in terms of its components ui, that is the basis functions. Suppose u is a basis vector, and how u is written? U is equal to u1, u2, in this way up to even, and we have written transpose because we have already told that this is a column matrix U, that is why we have written as T, and its components are ui. Ui are known as basis functions. Now, these basis functions may be of a variety of natures. It may be numbers, it may be coordinates, functions, or even a set of labels. Though for any one basis vector, they will all be of the same kind. So, for a particular basis vector, these basis functions will remain same. Now, once chosen, the basis vector can be used to generate an n-dimensional representation of the group as follows. Now, our first task is to choose some basis vector. So, what are basis vectors? The definition of basis vectors are like this. That is, a particular basis vector U can be represented by its components or basis functions. Now, we will use this basis vector to generate an n-dimensional representation of the group. So, the role of the basis vector is that they will be used to obtain an in general n-dimensional representation of the group. Now, how we are obtaining the representation, that I will discuss step by step. Now, suppose there is a group G, and in the group G there are several elements. Now, let us consider that there is an element X in the group, and we are selecting X, and what we are doing, we are observing the effect of X on each of the basis function ui. So, what we are doing, we are observing the effects of the effect of the element X on each basis function ui. For example, if the action of X on u1 is to produce u1 prime, that is, X is acting on the basis functions in such a way. So, when X operates on u1, then we are obtaining u1 prime. So, we can write in general, that is, ui prime is equal to X into ui. This is a general definition. That is, X is, what is X? X is an element of the group G, and what is U? U is a basis vector which has been expressed in terms of its components. Now, when X is operating on a particular element u1, it is producing u1 prime. So, we can write in general, that is, ui prime is equal to X into ui. So, it will generate ultimately a new column matrix U prime, because previously the basis vector U was represented by its components such as u1, u2, in this way up to even. But when X is acting on U, then we are obtaining U prime. and we are writing u prime in this way in terms of its components. These are the components u1 prime, u2 prime, in this way up to un prime. But we are writing T here to indicate this is a column matrix. That is why we have written here T means transpose. Now, having established u and u prime, we can determine the n into n matrix mx. We are saying a particular matrix mx. What is the definition of mx? Mx is such a matrix that connects between u prime and u. So, it is a relation. So, u prime is related to u. How? It is u prime is equal to mx into u. So, mx is a particular matrix that connects u with u prime. And how we have obtained u prime? We have obtained u prime when we observed the effect of a particular element x on the basis functions. That is u prime. So, u prime is connected with u by this relation, and this particular matrix will be used to generate a representative matrix of the element x. So, what is representative matrix and how it will be obtained, that I will again show you step by step, but for right now we have to understand that this particular matrix mx, which we have obtained through the relation 29.2, this matrix mx will be used to generate the representative matrix. We say that particular matrix as a representative matrix. That matrix will be calculated by using mx. Now, we have already told you that is x is an element of the group G, and there are other elements also in this group. Suppose there is y, there is z. Now, for this particular group, the multiplication between the elements are as follows. Suppose for the product, if you consider the product x into y, then you are obtaining z. So, x, y, z are the group elements for the group capital G, and if you look at the multiplication table of that particular group, you just assume that z is equal to x into y. And what is the significance of z is equal to xy? It implies that the effect of applying element z is the same as that of first applying y and then applying x to the result. It means that because you may think in this way, that is x is a particular operation, y is also some operation, and z is also some operation. So, in the right hand side, y is acting first, then x is acting second. So, the combined effect of x and y is equivalent to the application of the z operation. So, this is the significance of z is equal to x into y. Now, if from the multiplication table of the group G, this particular relation holds, that is z is equal to xy, then the representative matrix for the group G which we are going to find. So, the representative matrix, if we generally name a particular representative matrix dx which corresponds to the element x, then those representative matrix will also follow the rule dz is equal to dx into dy. What is dz? dz is the representative matrix corresponding to the element z. dx is the representative matrix which corresponds to the element x, and dy is the representative matrix which corresponds to the element y. Now, as we have mentioned that the group multiplication table of group G will follow this particular relation, that is z is equal to x into y. So, the representative matrix which we are going to find, they will also follow same type of product rule, that is here it is z, so it will be dz, and in the right side as it is x and y, x multiplied by y. So in the right side it will be dx into dy. So this is the concept of the representative matrix which we are going to find out. Now as we have told earlier, that is this relation, from this relation there is a particular matrix Mx which we will use to find the representative matrix. Now the representative matrix dx, we write it in this way, that is dx is equal to m transpose x. Now m transpose x, which we have obtained just a little bit earlier by the relation 29.2, where the basis vectors has been transformed, that is from u to u prime. So from this relation there is a matrix Mx, and we will obtain dx by this particular relation, that is dx is equal to m transpose of x. So it is necessary to take the transpose of Mx to find the representative matrix dx. Now we can write the relation given by equation 29.2, that is this particular relation. Here it was u prime is equal to mx into u. So now this relation will be u prime is equal to dt x d transpose x into u, because dx is equal to m transpose x. So we can write that is mx is equal to d transpose of x. So in this way we have defined the representative matrix for a particular group G. So this is that relation. Now the procedure for determining the matrix dx that represents the group element x in a particular representation based on basis vector u. We have to stress on this particular sentence, that is this particular representation is based on basis vector u. Now the procedure to determine the representative matrix dx is summarized from equation 29.1 to 29.4, that is step by step. We have started from this particular equation, then we have step by step obtained this particular relation 29.4, where we have determining the representative matrix dx which corresponds to a particular element x, but we have to say that it is based on basis vector u, that is it is for a particular basis vector u. Now after obtaining the representative matrix which corresponds to x, then we can also find the representative matrix corresponds to the other elements by the same procedure which we have discussed. So for each of the element you will find each of the representative matrix. So ultimately what we can obtain a set of n by n matrices. So we can call them that those are a set of n by n matrices, and in general in mathematically we can write D is equal to set of dx. This is the set of dx is said to be the n dimensional representation of G having u as its basis. We have to clearly say that this particular representation is based on the basis vector u. Now you see that the need to take the transpose of each matrix Mx. You see that here we have taken the transpose of Mx, dx is equal to m transpose of x. Now it is not of any fundamental significance, that is we are taking the transpose, but it is not like that it has some fundamental significance, and the only thing that really matters is whether the matrices dx have the appropriate multiplication properties. This is very important. Actually we are taking the transpose so that they obey the same types of multiplication properties. For example, if it is z is equal to xy, then dz should also follow the same types of multiplication properties. This particular thing is very important. Now with one example I will make you clear, that is how to find the representative matrix. So let us take an example. Suppose we are considering the permutation group which we have discussed earlier. To understand this particular example, I request the viewers to go through the textbook by Riley, Hobson and Benz, or either you can also listen the lecture delivered earlier by me, which was about the permutation group, because the knowledge of the permutation group is necessary for this particular example. So we are considering the group S3, that is the permutation group, which has the multiplication table. In this lecture I am not showing the multiplication table, but this particular table is 28.8, which was repeatedly discussed in our earlier lectures. So it has a particular multiplication table, and this multiplication table was isomorphic to the group of such as the symmetry operation on an equilateral triangle and some special kind of matrices, etc. So whatever it is, the group elements for this particular permutation groups are as follows. There are total 6 elements. For example, I, that is identity element, we write it in this way, that is 1 2 3, then A is this one, B is this one, C, D and E. So there are total 6 elements for this particular permutation group, and there should be some particular basis vectors, otherwise we cannot determine the matrix, representative matrix. So representative matrix can be calculated depending upon the type of basis vectors. So basis vectors and more specifically the components of the basis vector u can be represented by these ordered letter triplets. Suppose u1 is equal to pqr, u2 is equal to qrp, u3 is equal to rpq and so on. So there are total 6 components of the basis vector u, and based on this basis vector we will generate the 6 dimensional representation d is equal to set of dx. So this is known as a set of dx of the particular permutation group, and we should also confirm that the elements of the representative matrix, for example, suppose if you take 2 elements, suppose DC and DB, then the product of DC and DB will be DE. Why? Because as per the multiplication table, group multiplication table, C into B is equal to E. So as we have already discussed the representative matrices, so those representative matrices should also follow the same type of product rules. That is, if C into B is equal to E, then DC into DB should also be equal to DE. So our first step is to determine the representative matrices corresponding to the each elements, and next is to verify that the product rule for the representative matrices is also similar to the product rule of the group elements. Now at first you take the first element, that is the identity element I. Now we know that the identity element I leaves all the basis vector ui unchanged. So this, it is its property, because identity element leaves all the basis vector unchanged. Now you see the first step. In the first step we have told that we have to pick an element x from the group G, and we will check the effect of x on each of the basis vector components. So in general we will obtain in this way, that is ui prime is equal to x into ui, where for 6 elements I will run from 1 to 6. For example, u1 prime will be x into u1, u2 prime will be x into u2 and so on. So here we are choosing x as I is the first element or the identity element. Now as identity element leaves all ui unchanged, so we can say in this way, for example, suppose u prime is equal to I, u prime is equal to I into u1, but I into u1 will be u1. Similarly, I into u2 will be u2, I into u3 will be u3. That is, they should leave all ui unchanged. So ultimately the general relation we can write, that is ui prime is equal to ui. Ui prime is equal to ui for all I. We have to say in this way, that is ui prime is equal to ui for all I. That is why for this particular identity element, the representative matrix Di is thus I6. I6 is a unit matrix. I6 is a unit matrix, and definitely it should be 6 by 6 matrix, because there are 6 elements in total. So I6 will be 6 into 6 unit matrix, where the diagonal elements will be 1 and all other elements will be 0. So determination of Di is very easy. That is, first step is very easy, and next step is important, because in this step you will be clearly understood, that is how we will determine the representative matrix. Suppose you take the next element A is 1 2 3. So we are taking the next element A is equal to 1 2 3, and we will observe the effect of the operation of A on each of the basis vector. So we will write in this way, that is u1 prime is equal to A into u1. So A means 1 2 3 and u1 is given here. Each of the components are given, u1 u2 u3, all the components. So A into u1 will be 1 2 3. It will operate on PQR. Now we know that is how to calculate this. If you listen my earlier lectures, there we have discussed that this operation takes in this way, that 2, here is 2. So you have to think there is a arrow that points towards 1. That is, second element will come in place of 1. So here the second element is q. So q will come to the place of 1, first position. So q comes here. Then you have to think there is a arrow that points from 3 to 2. That is, third element will come to the position of 2. So third element is r. R comes to the second position. So only p is left. So you have to write p here, and this is A into u1. So we have obtained A into u1 is equal to QRP. But if you look at the problem, you can verify that is QRP is actually u2. You see that u2 is QRP. So what we have obtained, when A operates on u1, we are obtaining u2. Now in the similar procedure, suppose A into u2. So A is 1 2 3 and u2 is QRP. Then the same thing, that is you have to think there is a arrow symbol which points from 2 to 1. That means second letter will come to the first position. So second letter is R. So R will come to the first position. And you also think that there is a arrow pointing from 3 to 2. That is, third element will come to the position of 2. So third element is P. So P will come to the second position. Only Q is left. So we are obtaining RPQ. But as per the problem, RPQ is equal to U3. So we will write u3. So we are obtaining, that is A into u2 is equal to u3. Similarly, you have to check, that is how A is operating each of the basis vector and what element you are obtaining. So this is total 6 operations, and you have to check it step by step. And after obtaining all the equations, so then you will obtain a matrix MA, and this matrix MA will be such that u prime is equal to MA into u. We are writing A. Why? Because we are observing the effect of A on the basis vector. That is why we are writing u prime is equal to MA into u. So MA is a matrix and that relates the u prime with u. So this right side element, that is u2 u3, in this way, this is actually u prime. So u prime is equal to, you see that first we have obtained u2, that is why we have written u2. Next we have obtained u3, so we have written u3, and so on. Last we have obtained u5, so in the last position it is u5. So right hand this particular values they will constitute the elements for u prime. So this is u prime. So u prime is equal to ma. Ma will be the matrix that we are obtaining from this particular relation, and u means this particular component that is starting from u1, then u2, then u3, then u4, then u5, then u6. So this is u. So u prime is equal to ma. Ma is this particular matrix into u. Now how to find this particular matrix? So this is very easy, because you see we have to write the matrix in such a way so that this corresponds to the elements in the left side. For example, you see the first element is u2. You see in the first case we have obtained u2. So in this matrix we have to write 1 in the second position, and all the rest of all the values will be 0. Why? Because when this particular row will be multiplied with this column, we know the rule of the matrix multiplication, and this particular row will be multiplied with this particular column. Now we should obtain u2, because here it is written u2. So if we write 1 here, then u2 is in the just second position, then 1 will be multiplied by u2, and rest of all other elements are 0. Here in place of 0 dot is written, and dot is written because to aid readability, so that we can understand that is why 1 is written, but these dots are actually 0. So in the second position there will be 1, so that we obtain u2 in the first position. Similarly, you see that here it is u3, we should obtain u3. So if we obtain if we have to obtain u3, then we have to write 1 in the third position, because you see u3 is in the third position. So when this particular row will be multiplied with this particular column, we will obtain u3. All other elements will be 0. So in this way you can easily find the matrix Ma. So this is the matrix Ma which relates u prime with u. So u prime is equal to Ma into u. Then what will be dA? dA is actually the representative matrix. dA will be the transpose of Ma. If this is Ma, then dA will be the transpose of Ma. So that is M transpose of A. And this dA is a representative matrix corresponding to the element A. And also we have obtained the matrix, the representative matrix DI, but there are some other elements also, and by applying the similar procedure we have to calculate all other elements. That is, we are saying that this is dx, where x is for I, A, B, C, D and E. Just we have to proceed in the same approach. And in general we have already shown you that is x into Ey is equal to Uj. X into Ey is equal to Uj means x is a particular element, for example A. We have to step by step find each of the operation. A into U1 is equal to U2, A into U2 is equal to U3, and for other cases also, suppose you are choosing C, then you have to check, that is C into U1 is equal to what, C into U2 is equal to what. In this way, that is by the same procedure you can calculate it. And the thing is that in the if you look at the representative matrix, then sum of the elements will be 1. If we say that Ji, so Ji is any index. If we say that this is actually the M matrix, so we are saying that is Mx Ij is equal to 1 for some values of Ij. It means that is sum of the elements are 1 here. You see that sum of the elements are 1 here. So if Mx Ij is equal to 1, then dx Ji is equal to 1. Why we are writing the index Ji? Because we are taking the transpose. This is the main matrix Mx. We are writing Ij, and that is for some values of Ij, the elements are 1 here. But when we are transposing that, then we are writing in this way, that is dx Ji is equal to 1. That is, after transposing some elements will be 1. and all other elements will be 0. That is, we are writing in this way, that is dx jk is equal to 0 where k is not equal to I. So here it is I and here it is k. J is same in both cases, but if dji is equal to 1, then djk will be 0 for k not equal to I. The significance of the mathematical expressions are such that is only one element will be 1, but other elements will be 0. That is written in generalization. So whatever it is, ultimately we have to find out the representative matrix D for all other elements, and suppose after the that is after you obtain the other representative matrix, for example, suppose you have obtained DC. We have not shown the overall procedure to determine DC, because it will be just the same procedure as we have determined DA. So suppose this is DC, this is DB, this is DE. Then if you check the multiplication table for this particular group G, so as per the multiplication table, C into B is equal to E. But here you have you can also check that DC into DB will also be DE. So if you check it, then you will check that same multiplication rule also holds in case of representative matrix. So I think that is you have understood that is how we are obtaining the representative matrix, and what do you mean by representation theory. So representative matrix that we are obtaining for a particular group elements, and for further understanding for this particular discussion, I request you to go through the textbook of Riley, Hobson and Benz, mathematical methods for physics and engineering, and I also thank you all for listening my lecture.